You want me to do that?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So all right, I already did. So I thought, is that how you want to do it? I thought you wanted me to introduce you.
And by the way, I'm keeping this in the recording. This is fantastic.
No, you're not.
Yeah, I am, because I'm the editor.
Welcome to Bitcoin Basics with your hosts Faris and Gordon. Visit bitcoinbasics.help if you need help buying and securing your Bitcoin.
All right, go for it.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Bitcoin Basics podcast. This is Faris here with Gordon, and it is our first episode of 2023. So we are going to do our proof of recording. The price of Bitcoin is $20,835. Satoshis per dollar is 4,800, and the all-important block height is 772,139. Gordon, how are you doing so far in 2023?
I'm good, thanks, mate. Perhaps I'll be better than most of our audience after they listen to this episode, but yeah, I'm good.
Way to start the year.
Yeah, a great start to the year. We're going to start on a positive note. Everything is fine. Yeah. So
cool. Now, today's going to be a short episode because we're going to be talking about LastPass Password Manager, and it is a brief one on the Bitcoin Basics podcast, but we are actually going to go into more detail on a separate podcast about this. Is that right, Gordon?
I have no idea. You have to explain that to our audience.
You want me to do that?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So all right, I already did. So I thought, is that how you want to do it? I thought you wanted me to introduce you.
And by the way, I'm keeping this in the recording. This is fantastic.
No, you're not.
Yeah, I am, because I'm the editor. So what we're going to do, guys, is this is the Bitcoin Basics podcast. You guys want to listen and hear about Bitcoin fundamentals. There has been a massive security incident that just goes worse and worse and worse with LastPass Password Manager. Some of you might be thinking, I don't use LastPass, I don't care, or maybe you do. This is so big that you need to listen to it. Even if you use another password manager or don't even use a password manager, we're going to go into what happened with LastPass, and we're also going to go in the alternatives. So if you have been bitten, if you have been a LastPass user in the past, which I have, what are some alternatives? What should you do? Should you freak out? What are some of the alternatives? So we're going to cover that more in depth in our other podcast, which is our new podcast. So head across to myprivacy.help or just search for My Privacy Help in your podcast player, and our privacy podcast will come up in that, and have a listen.
If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe, like, and share so we can find others like yourself.
Thank you, Gordon. So I know LastPass is something we've actually recommended previously. What's changed? So what actually happened? And can you just give us a brief outline, and we'll go into detail as you said in the other podcast.
Well, I'll try and remain objective because this is super annoying. So I'll try not to be too salty, which for me, Faris, is fairly difficult. I recommended LastPass individually and personally to family and friends back in the day. I think we even did a couple of video tutorials about LastPass and having a password manager, because at the time, LastPass was the most secure, but also the most convenient password manager out there. And that was true. Tech moves fast. Things change. LastPass got bought out by a parent company, which I think this was probably the beginning of the end. But basically what happened in broad strokes was in August 2022, LastPass suffered a data breach of just their customers' data. So it wasn't passwords and vaults and stuff like that. It was some customers' data, like their name, email address, billing information, and that kind of stuff. And I don't know about you, Faris. I don't want to dox you. I'm happy to say I was a LastPass user. I'm not anymore. I never received an email about this. So I was sort of hearing about this from other podcasts and social media. So LastPass sort of tried to sweep it on the rug, but it didn't seem like a big deal. A couple of months later, people found out actually it wasn't just the customer's data. Guess what? It was the encrypted password vaults the keys to the kingdom, then people, and the whole problem is LastPass wasn't transparent about any of this stuff. So security researchers are trying to reverse engineer, brute force, all this sort of stuff and sort of figure it out for themselves. So the long and the short of it is that everything, the keys to the kingdom have gone. Customers' billing data, customers' metadata as well. So not just your address and email address and stuff like that, but what sites you're logged into, your IP address, how often, the last time that you logged into it, and the encrypted usernames and passwords, and basically your vault, your security notes as well.
And when you say encrypted usernames and passwords, is that the master password? I thought they actually didn't keep those.
Yeah, so the attacker, and they managed to get it from a backup, so it wasn't actually getting it from inside LastPass. LastPass used a third-party cloud service backup provider, and it's Steam, we don't know, but it seems likely that one of the employees or someone with access to that got it. So basically they got all this data plus the encrypted password vaults. And as you said, those are encrypted with the master password. So they didn't get the master password, but they did get the encrypted vaults, copy of the vaults.
Okay. I have a lot of questions there, but what we're going to do, guys, is if you are using LastPass, please go to myprivacy.help for an extended episode, because I'm going to ask Gordon a lot of questions. And should we continue to use LastPass? My guess will be no. And what other options out there? So please see the link here and go to myprivacy.help. And just a reminder, guys, if you have any questions about Bitcoin or friends and family, you may contact us on bitcoinbasics.help/ask, and we will answer any questions. Nothing too complex or too simple for the show. Gordon, anything to add before we sign off?
No, so bitcoinbasics.help/ask if you want to ask us a question about Bitcoin. And for people listening to this and thinking, I don't use LastPass, I don't care, you actually should care. So if you're using Dashlane, OnePass, or another password manager, or even if you're not using a password manager, which you should be, it's time to get serious about this stuff, and it's time to use serious alternatives that have been audited. So even if you're not a LastPass user or customer, you really should have a listen to this. So, myprivacy.help, click on the podcast link, or just search for My Privacy Help in your podcast player, and we'll jump into it there.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for watching or listening. If you enjoyed this podcast, please like, subscribe, and share so we can spread this educational content to others like yourself. Visit bitcoinbasics.help.
Disclaimer. Any content provided by CoinCompass is for educational and informational purposes only and is not investment, legal, tax, or any other professional advice. A qualified professional should be consulted before making any financial decisions. CoinCompass will at times recommend certain products, services, and technologies, but these are opinions based upon our own or podcast guests' experience and not endorsements. We take no liability for out-of-date or inaccurate information, software bugs, manufacturing errors, technology misuse, or issues involving third parties. Visit coincompass.com for more information, and please contact us.